So welcome back. The last video I mentioned about what we're doing with the Bodsy Brake Bible. I've had some great feedback. Keep coming with the feedback, and we'll try and make it as good as we possibly can. So our friends at Advanced Factors, I use Advanced Factors for lots and lots of my parts that I use in my daily job working on your Land Rovers, and they've helped us out with the supply of all of the parts that we need for the Bodsy Brake Bible process that we're going to follow. We're actually going to do it not on my Discovery 4, but we're going to do it on Clive Simon's of CDS 4x4. We're going to do it on his G4, so bright orange G4. You may have seen it around. Been on numerous expeditions with it to the Pyrenees, etc. I'll maybe put a clip in somewhere so you can have a look at it in the flesh. But today we're looking at unboxing. We'll start off with the heavy boxes. So this is everything that we're going to be fitting to Clive's G4. Discs, pads, shoes, parking brake shoes, calipers, pipes, everything that you could possibly need to do on the brakes. So what have we got in the first box then? So we've got a set of Febby discs. These are actually for the V8. So these are the front discs for the V8. Clive's G4 is at the V8 brake upgrade. You can also get the calipers for that if you wish. Clive's has already got the calipers, but we'll be replacing them anyway, so we'll have everything new. It's been used and abused over the years. So we'll just take this out. Nice to see they're wrapped, and they are solid pieces of kit. Just unwrap this here. So we're using Febby discs. These are coated. Can't really see from that angle, but let me just see if I can include a clip. So that's one disc. Let's get this a little bit closer to you. So hopefully you can see the finish on there. It's very good. Should reduce the rust that will be forthcoming. And in additional exciting news, for those of you that have shopped at Advanced Factors before, know that they've supported the various forums. That's both the web forums and the Facebook groups over the years. And for the last 10 years, they've been actively providing good Land Rover discounts, good Land Rover parts, and if you order the Febby kits from them, there'll be an additional discount code available. I'll give you the discount code later, all to do with Bodsy's Brake Bible. Yeah, so that's the front discs. This is no good for my back, you know. Oh, and this is the dog. Hello, dog. Yeah. Good. Okay. So that was the front brake discs. I suspect this will be the rear brake discs, as it's heavy. Well packed as everything is that comes from Advanced Factors. The warning on these, 15 kg, because they're heavy, properly heavy. Something amazingly therapeutic about opening boxes. Right, so the front discs, as they came in their own individual pack. This comes with both discs in the same pack, but it's got the same great quality coating. Excellent. Should hopefully keep the rust at bay for a little while, at least on the edge of it. You can tell the difference between the front and the rear, because the rear ones have this extra deep internal area. And that's where your brake shoes are going to be fitted. Right, now I've got to pick this one up again, haven't I? We'll show these in a bit more detail, obviously, when we go to fitting them, and on all the trials and tribulations that go with that. Right, I have no idea what's in this box. But it's always full of goodies. Extra packaging always goes well to stop things getting damaged. It's right, you can come through. Come and say hello to the dog. Pepper, Pepper. She's going off for a walk.
Not interested in these.
No, not interested. She's going off for a walk. She'd do anything for a ball. But, you know, that's a different story. Right, so we have lots of parts. What have we got here? So we've got front and rear brake hoses. You should change your brake hoses every 6 years, but always when you're doing your yearly checks on it, just to make sure they're not too corroded. They've been on Clive's G4 for a little while now, so it's good to get those all changed. When you're changing these, sometimes, particularly on the rear brake pipes can sometimes be corroded, so we're going to replace the brake pipes that sit on the rear arms. Front brake pipes. These are various brands, but all good. I wouldn't have any issue with putting these on anybody's car. So on the fronts, what we're also going to do is replace the backing, the disc backing area. These are renowned for going rusty, and whilst we've got everything else apart, we just thought we'd refresh those. Now we're not going to do the rears, because to do the rears you need to change the rear bearing, and we're not going to do that in this video. We may do that at some point in the future, but for now we're not going to do that. Okay, so that's really interesting. So these are both Land Rover parts, both genuine Land Rover parts. Splash shields. One of them is black and the other one is not black. Interesting. I'll have a look, see if it's actually got a coating on there at all later. And those are Land Rover genuine parts, so yeah, not cheap knockoffs or anything like that. Genuine Land Rover parts. Brake pad wear sensors. If you had the brake pad wear sensor come up, or most likely it may have broken when you're trying to remove it, replace those. If you don't replace these, then you'll get the brake pad warning light on your dash every time. There is a way to get around that, and we'll show that in the video when we're doing it. If you're stuck somewhere, or if you are particularly good at checking and maintaining your vehicle, then you may not want to have the brake pad wear sensors on there, as long as you're checking your brake pads regularly. Right, so now we're getting on to fitting kits. So we've got some copper washers to go with the brake pipes that's going to go on the calipers. We've got a spring kit. The spring kit includes the electronic parking brake spring, which quite often corrodes or gets gunked up. The tiny little springs that go inside the parking brake, and the larger springs that keep it all together. Extra clips. The extra clips will go with the replacement brake pipes. And thread lock. All important thread lock to make sure that bolts that shouldn't come out don't come out. As part of the pads replacement, we're also going to be replacing all of the retaining springs. So we've got those there as well. I can do a whole list of these, maybe in the details below, and to go through exactly what it is that we're using. Whole discussions around should you use copper grease or should you use the newer ceramic brake grease. We're going to use ceramic brake grease, but there are some places that we will be using copper grease. You can have discussions around that all day long, what's better, what's worse, but in some places I think that copper grease is better, and in other places ceramic grease is better. Also having rubber red grease, this is going into the caliper sliders, so you'll see how we do that. All of this will come together and will be more apparent as we go through. What do we have here? Another brake wear sensor. That'll be for the rear. As I say, if you didn't want to replace the sensors, then you could, if you really wanted to, cut them off and join them, and we'll show you how to do that if you want to. Now, on the discs, there are these tiny little Torx screws. These are renowned for being an absolute nightmare to undo if the previous owner, or whoever maintained it, has decided to tighten them up with a power gun, an impact gun. You don't need that much power on these. Only 30 Newton meters is more than sufficient, and you can grease these. These are only holding the discs on, but that'll be clear in the video that we make when we do it. So what else have we got here? Let's maybe start to move some of this out of the way. Brake pads, rear brake pads. These come with a kit, so they should have everything that you need. So we've already got the springs, and these should include the replacement bolts, because generally I would replace the bolts on the pads. Sure, I had a knife somewhere. Health and safety, it was in my pocket. Okay. So again, these are Febby brake pads. So the whole kit comes with the right shoes. These are the rears, but also they come with replacement bolts. Now those bolts you might be able to see, hopefully you can see a bit of blue on them. They've already got Loctite on them, so that means you can use them straight away with not having to add any additional, unless you want to add some additional, but you don't need to, they come with it. And that's the beauty about buying the right kit. It comes with everything that you need. Front brake pads, the same again. And the all-important parking brake shoes. Now, those of you that have read the Brake Bible will know how much of a pain the parking brake shoes are, but only if they're not set up properly. If they're set up properly, there's not a problem with it. So before I had this Discovery 4, I had a Discovery 3. It had the same parking brake module on its entire life. I had it from new. We did 270,000 miles in it. Never needed to replace the parking brake module or the cables. They all worked perfectly well, and the reason they all worked perfectly well is that every year I cleaned and adjusted the parking brake shoes. If you don't clean and adjust the parking brake shoes, you will get problems with it, unfortunately. So here are old school drums. These drums. Yes, spot the deliberate mistake. They are indeed shoes, not drums. These are the bits that are going to fit inside the rear shoes, the rear discs, and that's what gives you your parking brake. Separately, there's another set of pins and springs that you need for these. All important if you're doing extensive jobs on brakes, you need to make sure you've got .4 brake fluid. Make sure you've got plenty of it. You don't need 2 litres of it particularly, but if you wanted to, and we are going to, if you wanted to make sure that you flush through all of the old fluid, then yeah, get plenty. You don't want to run short, so it's much better to have too much than not enough. So here we have what looks like a brake caliper. I think this may well be the rear brake caliper. I can use my technology to work out how to do it. Here we go, here's the caliper carrier. Complete caliper carrier with pins. So new pins, new bolts, although we will use the bolts from the brake set instead. But they have new pins, they need to be greased up, got to be greased up. Got the rubbers that's already on these. Need to make sure there's plenty of grease on those when you put them in. Lots of brake pipe stuff to be changed. Right, so we've got front discs, rear discs, caliper carriers. And if you're in America, then obviously they're rotors for the discs. And again, more well packaged stuff. They do like their packaging, that's for sure. Okay. So these are the caliper carriers, 2 caliper carriers. And these are much bigger. These are for the front V8 discs. They stick out a little bit further than the standard V6 discs. And again, they come with the sliders, so we need to grease those up and make sure that they go in there as well. More heavy things. These will be, I think, all of the actual calipers. Yes. So these are the rear calipers. Brand new, good quality, new seals, and the February ones look as though they even come with extra brass. So that's good. So not only have we got them for the pipes, we've also got additional ones. So we've got a few spare then in that case. So this is the rear. Go. Front brake caliper. Front brake caliper is twin piston, as I'm sure you're already aware, and the rear brake caliper is single piston. So this is everything that we're going to be fitting in the next 10 days or so. As we go through each of these, we'll probably start off doing all the front discs, front calipers. We'll make sure those are all bled and change all the pipe work for that. And then we'll go on to the rear. The rear is what most people are not scared of, but more apprehensive of, because you do need to get it set up right. If you don't get it set up right, then it's not going to pull the parking brake on properly and may cause you additional problems with the actual parking brake module, and then that gets you into a whole world of pain, of expense. But it's relatively straightforward to make sure it's set up properly, you know, with or without electronic tools. So we will try to do it without electronic tools to a certain extent, and then we'll also show you with electronic tools as well. But all of these parts will be fitted, and we'll do that over the next few, I don't know, do we call these episodes? I don't know. The next few videos that hopefully you'll be able to all fall into place for everybody. So again, still I'm looking for more and more feedback, as much feedback as I can on the Bodsy Brake Bible. The link for the Bible again will be in the video or beneath. A link as well for Advanced Factors, who, as I say, I'll get most of my parts from. They are able to do worldwide shipping, and if you go onto their website, which is advancedfactors.co.uk, you're also able to get prices for worldwide shipping, so you don't have to wait ages to get a quote for shipping. If you tell them where you are, what parts it is that you want, and they'll provide a price online for you to order. It's very straightforward. There's lots of diagrams on there for various parts related to Land Rovers. This is Land Rover Discovery 3, Discovery 4, Range Rover Sports, and any of the other Range Rovers, Land Rovers and Range Rovers. They do lots of other things, but my focus is on the Land Rover Discovery 3, or the LR3 if you're in America, and the LR4 and the Range Rover Sport 1, the first version of the Range Rover Sport, which will be exactly the same as the Discovery 3. That's it for now. I'll come over and do a quick close-up of some of the parts, and then we'll move on to the next one. So let me bring you over. So here we go. The discs themselves are in here. Just get you a part of the built-in grip. And hopefully you can see that coating on there is really quite a nice thick coating. I'm quite impressed by that. Calipers, shoes, springs, pads, of course, brake wear sensors, lots and lots of pipe work that we'll be changing, additional springs, backing plate for the front, lots of pipes, caliper carrier, rear caliper, front caliper. So hopefully that'll give you an idea as to the scale of the changes that we're going to make for the brakes, and look forward to getting that on the road. So again, as I mentioned, any feedback you can get, any feedback you can provide, put it in the comments below, or you'll be able to find me on Facebook. I'm sure I'm on many of the groups, and whatever feedback people can provide, we'll try and incorporate it into this next generation of the Bodsy Brake Bible. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you soon.